Fitness trainers. You can replace your whole entire salary with a qqqi portfolio of $250,000 to $450,000. In this video, we're gonna go over the numbers. We're gonna look at the entry, median, and peak level salaries. qqqi pays a 14% yield, and that 14% yield is gonna be very important because we're gonna use that to get our figures. The entry level salary for a fitness trainer is $35,000 a year. So if we wanted to get our qqqi figures, we're gonna have to take 35,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's gonna give us $250,000 that we would need invested into qqqi. Now, if you have $250,000 invested into qqqi, this is gonna pay you $2,900 a month. The mid-level salary for a personal trainer is $57,000 a year. So if we wanted to get our qqqi figures, we're gonna have to take 57,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's gonna give us $410,000 that we would need to have invested into qqqi. So if we are making $410,000, not making $410,000, but if we have a $410,000 qqqi portfolio, that's gonna pay us $4,700 a month. The peak salary. So the peak salary for a personal trainer is $110,000 a year. So if we want to get our qqqi figures, we will have to take 110,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $790,000 invested into qqqi. That's what we would need. Now, if you have a 790K portfolio, that's going to produce you $9,100 a month. Let's sum the numbers up. To replace the entry-level salary for a fitness trainer, we will need to have 250K in qqqi, which is going to pay us $2,900 a month. To replace the mid-level salary, we will need $410,000 worth of qqqi, which is going to pay us $4,700 a month. And last but not least, the peak salary. So we would need $790,000 invested into qqqi, which is going to pay us $9,100 a month. When you start your journey as a fitness trainer, not only that you are getting people into shape and making them healthier, but you are also building relationships. Even though this could be a fun career and you can make a lot of money, there is some cons. Some of the cons is unstable income, especially at the beginning, dealing with difficult clients, and client retention. And a lot of times, especially at the beginning, the schedules are going to be unpredictable. Sometimes you're going to have to work nights and weekends, which can reduce your time with family and friends. When you are working a job, you are trading your time and energy for money. But when you own assets, you have access to freedom. Think about it, guys. If you have enough assets and assets that pay monthly income, you don't have to clock in, you don't have to clock out. You are on your own time, not your boss's time. So guys, if you are wanting to retire early, then here's two questions that you need to ask yourself. Can you see yourself working at that job for another 10, 20, maybe even 40 years? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. And the second question you need to ask yourself is, if you are wanting to retire early, how much is it going to cost for you to become financially free? Once when you have everything figured out, then you can start your financial freedom journey. Now guys, I am not going to make any promises that it's going to take you 5, 10, 15 years. It might take you 30 years. It just depends on what you want to do. But as long as you stay consistent throughout all market conditions, eventually you're going to reach your goal. That concludes the video. Before I wrap this up, guys, qqqi, in my opinion, is a great investment, but with any great investment, it carries risk. The NAV can erode, the dividend can decline, and we can also go through some dividend cuts, especially in a downturn market. So never put all your eggs in one basket. Also, guys, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This video is for information purposes, so please do your own research. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell so you know when my next videos will pop up. All right, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. See you guys in the next video. Fitness trainers. You can replace your whole entire salary with a qqqi. Attention dental hygienist. What if I told you that you could replace your $85,000 a year salary with qqqi? In this video, I'm going to show you how. We're going to look at the entry, median, and peak level salaries, and we're going to use qqqi's 14% dividend yield in order to get to our figures. All right, so let's start off with the salaries. The entry level salary for a dental hygienist is $60,000 a year. The median salary for a dental hygienist is $75,000 a year. Last but not least, the peak level salary for a dental hygienist is $105,000 a year. To replace the entry level salary, we will have to take $60,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $429,000 worth of qqqi. To replace the median salary, we will have to take $75,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $536,000 worth of qqqi. Last but not least, the peak salary. In order to replace the peak salary, we're going to have to take $105,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $750,000 worth of qqqi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the video. Now you're probably looking at this video or watching this video and you have a sigh of relief. And yes, guys, I will agree with you. This is something to be relieved about, because for years and years, we have been taught that we need millions of dollars to become financially free, but not in today's time. But at the same time, these figures still take a while to achieve. Now, unfortunately, most people will not achieve these numbers, even though they have worked for 40 years. But the ones that do invest consistently, reinvest their dividend income, and invest in all market conditions. Guys, just think about it for a second. You have enough money. You have enough passive income to pay over your bills. What does that mean? No fast-paced scheduling, no difficult patients, and last but not least, no exposure risk. Guys, before I wrap up this video, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes, so please do your own research. And guys, qqqi is an ETF that also carries risk. The NAV can erode, the dividend can decline, and we can also go through a dividend cut, especially in a downturn market. So never put all of your eggs in one basket. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. That's all I have for you. If you liked this video and found it informative, please subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell so you know when my next video will pop up. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. See you guys in the next video. Attention all social workers. What if you could replace your whole entire salary with just one ETF? In this video, later on in this video, we're going to look at the calculations and we're going to do the mathematics. And I'm telling you guys, the numbers are going to shock you. You won't need $10 million, $5 million, $2 million. You won't even need $1 million. But before we get to the video, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for entertainment and informational purposes, so please do your own due diligence. And also, guys, this video is scenario based. Now, the golden ETF we're going to talk about is qqqi. qqqi is from Neos Investment, and it has been paying a stable 14% yield. It has been producing phenomenal returns since inceptions. All right, before we go to the numbers, let's get through some criteria. So we are going to look at the U.S. national average. If we want to make $42,000 a year from qqqi, we're going to need $300,000 invested into the ETF. All right, median salary. So the average median salary for a social worker is $61,000 a year. If we want to make $61,000 off a qqqi ETF, then that means we're going to need to have $436,000 invested into this ETF. Third and finally, peak salary. So the average peak salary of a social worker is $100,000 a year. So if we want to make $100,000 a year from this ETF, qqqi, we're going to need $715,000 invested. All right, so how did I get these numbers? So what I did, I took the yearly average salaries and I divided by 0.14, and that's what gave me all the numbers. So let's do a brief overview. Entry-level social worker, $42,000 a year, $300,000 in QQQI. Median salary, $61,000, $436,000 invested in QQQI. Peak salary, $100,000 a year, $715,000 invested into QQQI. Now, you guys are probably listening to these numbers, looking at these numbers, and you're probably doubting yourself. You're probably telling yourself, I don't have $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. And that is okay. Most people do not have that type of money. And it's not about having a large sum of money. It's about building your way up to those numbers. Guys, as long as you stay consistent and stay disciplined, invest throughout all types of market, you will eventually reach your goal. And guys, I'm not promising you that you're gonna retire in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It might take you 40 years. It might take you 50 years. It's all gonna depend on you. It's all gonna depend on how much you put your money into QQQI, how regularly you put your money into QQQI. That's all going to depend on you. All right, guys, before we wrap up this video, I just want to give you guys a warning. All right, we are talking about QQQI. All right, it's an ETF and it is an investment. Just like any investment, it carries risk. Yes, QQQI has been very phenomenal ever since inception, but just understand this, guys. The NAV can erode, the dividends can be cut, or the dividend can be lowered, especially if we are in a downturn market. So guys, please keep that in your heads. Just please let that be a reminder to you. Don't put all your eggs in one basket because any investment carries risk. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, found it helpful, informative, and entertaining, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. Also, if there's a notification on there, hit the notification button so you will know when each video comes out. All right, guys, a couple of things. If you guys have been a social worker or been a social worker in the past or are currently being a social worker, put it in the comment section. If you guys are a QQQI ETF investor, also put that in the comment section. And if you want to, let me know how many shares do you have, and let me know how much money you want to make from QQQI. All right, guys, that wraps up this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Attention aerospace engineers. What if I told you that there was an ETF out there that pays a 14% dividend yield that can replace your whole entire salary? In this video, we're going to go over the numbers. We're going to look at the entry, median, and peak level salary. And we're going to use the 14% dividend yield in order to get our figures. So what is this 14% paying yield that I am going to go over with you? It is called QQQI. QQQI is from Neil's Investment. Again, it pays a 14% yield. It is a covered call ETF. So it gets the 14% yield by generating premium. So in order to generate premium, you have to sell options. Now, most of the premium that they get is from doing covered calls on the NASDAQ 100. So not only that they're doing covered calls on the NASDAQ 100, but they also own the index so they can participate in the growth. So that sums up QQQI for you. All right, guys, so let's get to the figures. The entry-level salary for an aerospace engineer is $80,000 a year. So if we wanted to get our QQQI figures, we will have to take 80,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $571,000 invested into QQQI. That's right, guys. We will need $571,000 invested to replace our entry-level salary as a aerospace engineer. The average median salary for an aerospace engineer is $105,000 a year. So if we wanted to get our QQQI figures, we're gonna have to take 105,000 and divide it by 0.14. that's going to give us $750,000 worth of QQQI. That's right, guys. We need $750,000 invested into QQQI in order to replace our median salary for an aerospace engineer. So the average peak salary for an aerospace engineer is $140,000 a year. So in order to get our figures, we're going to need to take 140,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $1 million. That's right, guys. We're going to need $1 million invested into QQQI in order to replace our aerospace engineer salary. Let's do a brief summary. So in order to replace the entry-level salary, we're going to need $571,000 worth of QQQI. To replace the median salary, we will need to have $750,000 invested into QQQI. Sorry, I can't talk, y'all. And last but not least, a peak salary, we will need $1 million worth of QQQI. That concludes the numbers. Guys, I'm pretty sure you're aware of this, but when you are working a job, you are trading your time and energy for money. But if you have assets, especially assets that pay passive income, that's what's going to get you to freedom. That's what's going to have you stress-free. That's what's going to have you spend more time with family and friends and just basically do what you want to do. Aerospace engineers are responsible for designing aircrafts, missiles, and other defense systems. With doing all that, that requires a heavy mental load, which can lead to a lot of stress, especially with all the math and the physics and all the other critical thinking that they have to do. In this field, a small mistake can lead to big consequences. Just think about it. If you had enough passive income to replace your whole entire salary, whether if you're an entry level, median level, or peak level, then you will not have to worry about that anymore. If you are a person that wants to retire early, or if you're a person that hates their job and just wants to get out as soon as possible, then you need to ask yourself, how much money do I need to have in order to become financially free? Before I wrap this video up, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for informational purposes, so please do your own due diligence. And also, guys, QQQI, in my opinion, is a great ETF. It has been producing phenomenal returns in the past and is currently producing phenomenal returns, but that does not mean future results are guaranteed. QQQI is an investment. So just like with any other investment, investments carry risk. But with QQQI, the NAV can erode, the dividend can decline, and we can also see dividend cuts, especially if we are in a downturn market. So guys, never put all your eggs in one basket. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell so you know when my next videos will pop up. All right, guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Fitness trainers, you can replace your whole entire salary with the QQQI median and peak level salaries. Auditors, you can replace your whole entire salary with QQQI ETF. And I'm going to show you how. In today's video, we're going to look at the entry, median, and peak level income. And we're also going to look at QQQI's 14% dividend yield in order to get our numbers. Let's get started. So the entry-level auditors makes anywhere from $55,000 a year to $65,000 a year. So if we wanted to get the figures, we will have to take 55,000 divided by 0.14 and 65,000 divided by 0.14. That's going to give us between 392,000 to 464,000 worth of QQQI. Mid-level salary auditors make anywhere from $66,000 a year to $90,000 a year. So if we wanted to figure out how much QQQI we would need to replace these salary ranges, we would need to take 66,000 and divide it by 0.14 and 90,000 divided by 0.14. So that's going to give us $471,000 to $642,000 worth of QQQI to replace the mid-level salary auditors. Last but not least, peak salary. So the peak salary ranges for an auditor is $91,000 to $121,000 a year. So if we wanted to replace these figures with QQQI, what we're gonna have to do is take 91,000 and divide it by 0.14 and 121,000 divided by 0.14. So that's going to give us 650,000 to $864,000 worth of QQQI. Let's do a summary. So to replace the entry-level salary, you're gonna need anywhere from 390K to 465K worth of QQQI. To replace the median salary, you're gonna need 470,000 to $645,000 worth of QQQI. All right, last but not least, peak salary. So to replace the peak salary, we're gonna need anywhere from 650,000 to $865,000. That wraps up the numbers. Now guys, as an auditor, auditors are necessary for our economy and it's a pretty stable job. And this job is in high demand. But with things being high demand, that means auditors can be working long hours, have busy sessions, and they have to be detail oriented. So if they have to be detail oriented, that means they're gonna go through a bit of mental fatigue. You don't have to trade your time for money for the rest of your life. You can own assets that produce income that can fund your lifestyle and replace your auditor salary. Now, guys, I want you to sit down and think about this and ask yourself two questions. Question number one, is this career worth it? And question number two, what is the price that it's gonna take for me or for you to become financially free? So what is the price for you to become financially free? And that number is gonna vary between how much you make and how much your bills are, etc. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the video. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell so you know when my next videos will pop up. Now guys, before I fully end this video, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for informational purposes, so please do your own research. And guys, in my opinion, QQQI is a great long-term investment, but just like any other investment, it carries a risk. The NAV can decline, the dividend can be cut, or we can have dividend declines, especially if we are in a downturn market. So just do not invest all of your eggs in one basket. That's all I have for you. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next video. Attention mail carriers. You can replace your $55,000 salary with QQQI. I'm going to show you how. In today's video, we're going to look at the entry, median, and peak level salaries, and we're also going to use QQQI's 14% yield in order to get our QQQI figures. All right, let's get started with the salaries. An entry-level mail carrier salary is $43,000 a year. The median salary for a mail carrier is $59,000 a year. And last but not least, the peak salary for a mail carrier is $71,000 a year. All right, finally, let's get to our QQQI figures. To replace the entry-level salary, we would need to take $43,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $307,000 worth of QQQI. To replace the median salary, we will take $59,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $421,000 worth of QQQI. To replace a peak level salary, we will need to take 71,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $507,000 worth of QQQI. All right, guys, that wraps up the numbers. You're probably watching this video and you have a sigh of relief. And yes, guys, this is something to be relieved about, because we have been told for decades that we need millions of dollars to be financially free. But in this time and age, that is not the case. But at the same time, these figures still take a while to achieve. Unfortunately, most people do not reach these figures, even working for 40 years. I forgot about one more salary. So the highest recorded salary for a male carrier is $120,000. So if we wanted to replace that with QQQI, we will need $857,000 worth of QQQI. You have enough passive income to pay all your bills. What does that mean? No long hours, no bad weather exposure, no other safety risk. Guys, that wraps up everything in this video. Guys, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for informational purposes, so please do your own research. And guys, this video is scenario based. And give you guys a warning, QQQI is a great investment in my opinion, but just like with any other investment, it carries risk. The NAV can erode, the dividend can decline. It can also go through a dividend cut during market downturns. So never put all of your eggs in one basket. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you know when my next videos will pop up. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Attention auto mechanics. What if I told you guys that you could replace your whole entire salary just off this one ETF? Later on in this video, I'm going to do all of the math. I'm going to show you the calculations. I'm going to show you how everything works. And the numbers are going to be shocking. You won't need $10 million. You won't need $5 million, $2 million. You won't even need $1 million. But before we get to the topic, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes or informational purposes. So please do your own due diligence or research, whatever you want to call it. All right, so the golden ETF that we're going to talk about is QQQI by Neos Investments. Now, QQQI pays a stable 14% dividend yield. It has been producing phenomenal returns since inception. I am a proud owner of it, so that's what we're going to be using. All right, so before we get to the numbers, let's talk about some criteria. We're going to be talking about the U.S. national averages. And number two, we're going to only look at the QQQI dividend, which is 14%. So we're not going to look at any capital gains, no capital losses. And then finally, we're going to compare three salaries: entry-level salary, median level salary, and peak salary of an automotive mechanic. All right, so let's start with the entry-level salary. So the entry-level salary of an automotive mechanic is $42,000 a year. Now, if we want to make that in QQQI, off of QQQI, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take 42,000 and divide it by 0.14. And that's going to give us $300,000 that we need to invest in QQQI. All right, second, the median salary. So the median salary for an automotive mechanic is $49,000 a year. So if we want to make $49,000 a year off of QQQI, we're going to have to take 49,000 and divide it by 0.14. And that's going to give us $350,000 that we need to invest into QQQI. All right, third, the peak salary of an automotive mechanic makes an average of $80,000 a year. So if we want to make $80,000 a year off of QQQI, what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to take 80,000 divided by 0.14. That's gonna give us $572,000 that we need to have invested in QQQI to replace our $80,000 a year auto mechanic job. All right, guys, let's do a brief overview. So for entry-level positions, you're going to need 300K invested in QQQI. Median level salary, you're going to need $350,000 invested into QQQI. Peak salary, you're going to need $572,000 worth of QQQI. Now, guys, you're probably listening to these numbers and you're probably having doubts. You're probably saying to yourself, I don't have $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, and that's okay. Most people do not have that much. And it's not about having a large portfolio or having a large lump sum to put into your portfolio. It's about working your way up to those numbers. It's about building your portfolio up. Guys, as long as you stay consistent, as long as you stay disciplined and invest in all types of markets and don't sell, eventually you're going to get to your goals. Guys, I am not promising you, if you do this strategy, that you're going to retire in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It might take you 40 years. It's all going to depend on you. It's all going to depend on how much money per week, per month, per year that you put into this QQQI investment. Now, before I wrap up this video, I want to give you guys a warning, right? QQQI is an investment. Just like any other investment, it carries risk. There's a risk of NAV erosion. There's a risk of dividend declines or even dividend cuts. So just because QQQI is giving good returns right now and has given good returns in the past, that does not mean future returns are guaranteed. So nothing is guaranteed. So guys, just please remember that. All right, that wraps up this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you guys found this video entertaining, helpful, and informative, please like the video. Please share the video and subscribe to my channel. Guys, if you would like, put it in the comment section if you are an auto mechanic. Also, if you are a QQQI investor, put it in the comment section, and also let me know how many shares of QQQI do you have, or how much money do you plan on making with QQQI. All right, guys, that's all I have for you.
You should go.
Attention HVAC technicians. What if I told you that there is an ETF that pays a 14% yield that could replace your whole entire salary? In this video, we're gonna go over the numbers. We're gonna look at the entry, median, and peak level income. And we're also going to use this 14% yield in order to get our figures. Now, the ETF that we're going to talk about is QQQI. QQQI is a covered call ETF. QQQI is designed to generate monthly income from doing options on the NASDAQ 100. The reason why QQQI generates a 14% yield is because the fund managers are selling covered calls, and also not only that they're doing covered calls on it, but they also own the underlying so they can participate in some of the growth from the NASDAQ 100. The entry-level salary for an HVAC technician is $44,000 a year. So if we wanted to see how much QQQI we would need to replace the entry-level salary, we would need to take $44,000 and divide it by 0.14. So when we do that, that's going to give us $315,000 invested into QQQI ETF. The median salary for an HVAC technician is $67,000 a year. So if we wanted to see how much QQQI we would need to replace this salary level, we would need to take $67,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $478,000 worth of QQQI. That's right, guys, $478,000 worth of QQQI in order to replace the median salary of an HVAC technician. Last but not least, the peak salary. So the peak salary for an HVAC technician is around $94,000 a year. So if we wanted to use QQQI to replace the peak salary of an HVAC technician, we're gonna have to take $94,000 and divide it by 0.14. That's going to give us $671,000 worth of QQQI. That's right, guys. We're going to need $671,000 worth of QQQI. Let's do a brief summary. So to replace the entry salary, we're going to need $315,000 worth of QQQI. To replace the median salary, we will need $478,000 worth of QQQI. And last but not least, to replace the peak salary, we will need to have $671,000 invested into QQQI. That concludes the numbers. Now, HVAC technicians, they are the backbones of society. This is a well-paying job with strong opportunity and strong growth, but it comes at a cost. Wear and tear in your joints, working in extreme weather, also working unpredictable schedules. When you are working a job, you are trading your time and energy for money. When you own assets, especially assets that produce passive income, you have access to freedom. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for informational purposes, so please do your own research. And also, guys, in my opinion, QQQI is a great ETF to invest in. It has been producing phenomenal returns in the past, and it's still producing phenomenal returns in the present. But that does not mean future returns are guaranteed. QQQI is an investment. Just like with any other investment, it carries risk. You guys gotta take into